Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my Christmas series. So you're going to need the following items for this next project, and I just started off by taking the back of that arched window, that thing on the back, that stand. It has a ribbon, and then it has a little metal piece there that if you bend it back and forth, it just snaps off like that, super simple. And it also has a really nice piece of hardware on the back that you could, if you collect them, you could make an awesome windmill with that, just saying. But I took all the pieces off on the back that I thought would interfere with what I was going to do next. And then this little piece right here, this clip, is screwed in with this tiny screw, and all I did was unscrew it and then lift it up above where the hole was before, and the wood is super soft, or I don't think it's wood, I think it might be that MDF board, but either way, if you just put a little bit of pressure right here, you can see me pressing, you can create a new screw hole, and you can raise that up because it needs to be a little bit higher for this craft. It needs to be about there. So you can see the old hole where it's coming at right there. I zoomed in there so you could see it up close. You just get it to there, and then you go ahead and stain it with either paint or wax. I'm using wax. I probably should have waited to screw it in until after I stained. I mean, it was no big deal. I just went around it and I got everything, but I was afraid to take it out because I was afraid if I put it back in, it wouldn't stay. So I just left it, stained around it. Now I'm staining the edges and all the little windows. And next we're going to stain the crate the same exact color. And I did use a baby wet wipe for both of these things, except for the inside of the crate where the corners were in the bottom. I found it was actually simpler to squirt a little bit of water into the lid of the wax there. You can see there's some water mixed with the wax, and to use a brush to finish this. Next, I took some cardstock and I am just tearing it around the edges. And I'm going to try and get it the same size as this stencil here because I want to use the word believe right there. So I'm going to go ahead and test it, lay it on top to make sure it fits. And then we're going to go about distressing this tag. So the back, I just did it solid brown. And then on the front, I used the wax and I just hit, you can see right there, I just hit the edges. But by the time you're done hitting the edges, you should have just a little tiny bit of wax on the sponge so that you're able to lay the cardstock down and rub the front of it. You'll see me do it here, and you'll have a pretty light stain. See, I'm kind of pressing hard, and you can't go straight with the wax because if you do, it'll be too dark. So you want to use your heaviest wax on the edge of the cardstock, and you want to save. You can test it on another piece of paper. If you're not used to doing this, I kind of have a feel for how much wax I need to put on it. If you're not used to doing this or you're new to crafting, I suggest that you test it on a little piece of white paper first just to make sure. Now I'm using the color Ink from Waverly Chalk Paint. It's just black paint. And I'm going around the edges again because I want to give them that burned, like it's burnt, that look. So I'm taking a fine, super fine tip Sharpie, and I'm tracing out the word believe, and then I'm just going to take the regular fine tip Sharpie and fill it in. All the hot glue in this video is the Surebonder glue. I have actually tried both the Gorilla and the Surebonder, and I do prefer the Surebonder a little bit more. I think it has a stronger adhesion, but it also has more choices as far as what it holds or claims to hold together, so it's just easier to work with, and it's very affordable if you order it on Amazon or if you buy it at Walmart. I'm using some of the Dollar Tree Spanish moss and some of the pine that I bought and the berries that I bought from Amazon. If you're interested in this pine, it is down below my description box. It comes in a little bit cheaper than the Dollar Tree, but the Dollar Tree has absolutely beautiful pine. If you watched my last shop with me video, they left off the glitter, and it's competitive with the high-end pine for sure. It's beautiful. I am taking a bell. These are bells that are already aged from Temu, and I love them. I think I splurged. I think they were like $4 something, but you got a decent amount and it was worth it. It was really pretty. But I also showed last week how you go about making the Dollar Tree bell look the exact same way. Now I'm using some little candied beads from Temu as well, and I just took a Dollar Tree skewer. I am using the furniture pen from the Dollar Tree to stain it. It's a great fast way to stain it, and I did put a little bit of hot glue on the tips of those beads so that they'll stick on that stick. I also added some pine cones, and I'm adding those little candies, and now I'm using one of the Dollar Tree little wooden Christmas trees. I removed the sticky thing and tried to sand off the sticky part as best as possible, and I'm using the furniture pen for this as well, and you can't see it. It looks fine. After I do that, I take some of the white paint from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm just kind of tapping it on the edge of this tree to give it a little bit of a flocked look because I thought that was pretty. But because the tree is dark, I decided to leave the stick just natural, the little skewer, and I'm going to stab that inside the moss to hold it up. Using my favorite color for rust, nutmeg from Apple Barrel Paint, I'm just going to distress and rust up that clip there so it matches. And I found these at my last Shop With Me video. These are those little emergency candles. Be sure to grab the AAA batteries because these do take 2 of them. They have like a little twist bottom that turns it on. So leave the bottom of the stand off so you can take it in and out, easy to turn it on and off. But I put the believe sign on, and I thought this is such a beautiful accent piece for Christmas on an entry table or a shelf. I love this. For this project, I am using Dollar Tree poster board, and I am making the tallest cone that I possibly can. I think it comes in close to 24 inches, and I wanted it to be pretty narrow because I'm trying to imitate some of the high-end Christmas trees from Hobby Lobby that I saw when I was shopping there in my last Shop With Me video. It just inspired me to try and, reach high. So I'm going to try and accomplish this by using joint compound, and I ordered it on Amazon. So I just spread it on like frosting, and I take my little tool from Dollar Tree. It's like a little spatula tool, and I'm just chopping into it to make horizontal lines. So I start with horizontal lines, and then you can see I switch it up. So if you have stamps, or if you have some kind of even crinkled foil, or use your imagination here and have fun, but you can put any kind of print, like any kind of imprint on this that you want. So there I am right there. That's how I got that design. I'm just sideswiping it basically. It comes up so nice, you guys. This actually, again, it was one of those projects I had an expectation, but it ended up exceeding my expectation. I was so pleased. So for the upper half of this tree, I am doing vertical lines. So just a different design. So I'm and again, it's just like frosting a cake. I'm just frosting my cake all the way up to the point, and then I go about making my designs just by kind of how I'm angling the spatula. I don't actually do anything specific with the spatula, like I'm not chopping into it or anything. Right there, you can see just how I'm going with what's naturally occurring just from applying the joint compound upwards. But you can use spackling. However, I will warn you that spackling is a drier product. You don't have as much work time because this is a rather large project. So you may run into some problems with, like, it will skid on you, you know what I mean, where you won't be able to spread it as smooth. Joint compound is more like a whipped cream, and it gives you a lot more time to work with it. However, I kept changing my design in the beginning over a period of like 20 minutes. So the last 2 inches of the poster board got a little damp, so I did need to take my heat gun and dry it out. That worked perfect, and I could move forward and continue with my project. So I let this dry overnight, and then I took this spray paint right here, and we're going to start spraying it the next day. And because this little tree does come out looking exactly like a copper metal tree, I literally could not think of a decor style that this wouldn't go with. This goes with a rustic home all the way up to a contemporary modern home, and literally everything in between. Comment down below if you can think of one that it wouldn't go with, but it's so beautiful. This is one I really hope everyone gets to try this year because it's heavy, it's super high-end looking, and I'm so happy with the way this one came out. love these tree skirts. They were definitely around last year. I did pick one up for a DIY, and if you want to follow me with my DIYs, you might want to grab one of the silver ones when you get a chance. And here we go. So here's that super cute tree skirt. We are also using a stovetop cover. We're using the small one, and I have this round from Walmart. It cost me $1. I'm using my antique wax to give it a stain and a wet wipe. I do use the Huggies natural wet wipes that are mostly just water for my projects, and I'm going to dry it off really quick here. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove the sticker on the tree skirt. I will tell you, I did have to use my heat gun for about 3 minutes. That was really on there, but it did come off and it did not leave a residue. These are also easy to bend, as you saw there. You know, you can shape it if it's out of shape a little bit, so don't worry. I took my stovetop cover outside and I spray painted it with that hammered spray paint. Isn't it gorgeous? So we have to get it on top of this little tree skirt here. And I knew that the rim on the tree skirt is just too thin and it kind of moves a little bit too much. You just needed something more substantial. So I took the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree and I'm gluing it inside. And I will say, I don't know if it's the glue I'm using or what. I did use high heat, but I tried to take the nautical rope off in one section to readjust it, and it wasn't going to come without shredding the rope. So it's definitely on there. So I'm showing you how flimsy these are. For those of you that have never dealt with these before, you need something more, again, substantial for the base. So we're going to use the metal one because it matches and it looks beautiful when it's on. And hot glue again holds it. I'll show you in a minute here how tough it holds it on. But that's why I stained that piece of wood, because for me, I thought it would look kind of cute for the bottom to kind of look maybe like dirt for this project. You could also make it look like snow. You'll see what we're going to do here in a minute. But I'm just pressing it down, and look, I'm showing you, I'm trying to tuck it off and it's on there. So once you do this, you do not have to worry about it coming off. It will stay there for good. And we just made a super cute riser. I love this one. And we're going to put a little mini tree farm on top of it. This is going to be my table centerpiece this year. I thought it was so cute. Now, I showed you my last video. If you see these LED Christmas lights, grab them up because they already sold out in my Dollar Tree. But that's what I decided to put in the front. But I'm showing you that you can use the other Christmas trees if you want. I just thought this was a nice look because it kind of went from taller, shorter, all the way down. But we're all done, and I think this came up so cute. So if you'd like to recreate this project, these are the items you need to look for at the Dollar Tree. I took them outside and spray painted them. I forgot to remove the sticker on the bottom, so I'm doing it now. And you do not have to spray paint it perfect for this project. Next, I'm taking some of this green from Apple Barrel paint, and I'm just adding it here and there kind of haphazardly. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just adding it wherever I feel like it might be a little accent piece. And then for just the top part of these, I decided to add some of the pearlescent metallic folk art acrylic paint. That's a mouthful. Just to try and get it to match the bottom little candle holders in case some of that silver peeked out. As it turns out, you don't see it, but I gave it my best shot, so I just wanted to show you my steps. I'm giving this a really good blow dry, and then next we're going to be adding the Crackle medium to this. Now, school glue will also work for this. I've never tried it, but I've heard plenty of people say it, and I've watched it happen on film before, so I think it's true. But I just bought the Crackle medium, and I'm going to go ahead and use a brush and apply it all over the candle holders and the top little vases. You certainly can leave the top part just glass if you want to. I've just done so many see-through glass lanterns that I thought it would be really fun and pretty to try something different. And I kind of wanted to make something for my French country people out there, or cottage core, farmhouse too. This would definitely go with farmhouse or vintage. This is kind of a hit, many different different ones you can do with this. So I'm using the color Plaster from Waverly Chalk Paint. I do use chalk paint for this whenever I do the Crackle medium because you only get one shot. You have to go over it pretty much. You can see I'm gently going over it here and there, you know, a little bit, but basically you want to try and only do one coat and then move on. Don't linger and don't do another coat because you see I just did it there, but it still looks good, but it lifts off a little bit and you don't want that to happen too much because you want your crackling. So go with a one coat paint. I do have a recipe for homemade chalk paint down below my description box. I made 2 videos on that. They're non-toxic and easy and affordable to make. I just ended up buying a bunch of chalk paint, so I'm using it up. So we're just going to put this also on the inside. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did put the Crackle medium on the inside of these vases because you aren't going to be able to see that. So I'm covering that now with my chalk paint. So now I'm using my heat gun, which is really kind of like a glorified dryer. I didn't buy a really expensive heat gun, but it does get hotter than a dryer, so it does help dry things faster. And I am blow drying this because I'm being honest, I did not wait the full hour for the Crackle medium to dry like it says to. And when you don't wait the full hour and you want to move along like me, I think I waited about 40 minutes. You do have to dry it to kind of help it along, and you get that beautiful crackling effect right there. Ignore the crazy super glue thing. I couldn't get the lid off, so I cut the bottom of it because there was a ton in there and I wanted to use it before I threw the container away. I used the super glue and hot glue for an instant hold and then a permanent hold. Hopefully it seems to be holding really strong. It's another one of those, you know, I think the Sherboner glue is really good. It holds unless you're going to throw something across the room. It's definitely good enough for decor in your home. So now I'm using some of this beautiful burlap ribbon that I got from Temu. I really like this one. I bought more. It's super cheap, and you'll see it there if you look under crafting items. It kind of, I think it's promoted, but it pops up a lot. I love this one, and I don't want to put anything permanent on this, obviously, because it will damage the paint. So I just glued the little burlap ribbon around the bottom, and then I'm going to take some pine, and I wanted this to be very humble, very simple. Less is more. I thought that was perfect for this. It ends up being so beautiful, so I made a good call there. I didn't want it to overpower the vases. So I'm just putting some delicate pine on it, and then I choose the Dollar Tree berries this time because they're also more subtle and more delicate than the other big red juicy ones. And we're going to put that on the center between the 2 pieces of pine that I put down. I am super excited to decorate with these for Christmas and for all year round as well. I think they're so pretty. I'm going to put them on my fireplace mantle, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I really do love you guys. And until the next one, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.